So how much should you charge for an online course? This is a question that I get often as I coach online business owners who have a desire to release a course. Maybe that's you. In this video, I'm going to talk about the 3 types of online courses, how to price them based on your niche and a few other factors, and how to make sure that you're priced just right so that it's not too much, but also not too little, because that is an option as well. Like that can be a problem to price too little. Who am I? My name's Lane. I love to help people replace their 9-to-5 income with a thriving online business without hustle, grind, or having to build a large social media following. If you're into that kind of thing, you can go to lanesebring.com/super simple. Pick up my free super simple guide to your first $500 online. I actually walk through the process that I went through to build a multiple 6-figure online business and coach others to do the same. So as you're watching this video, that'll be a great companion. We talk a lot about selling courses in that guide. So lanesebring.com/super simple. So my first online business was called Preaching Donkey. And when it came time for me to build my first course, the big question that I had was, well, how much do I charge? Because to that point, I had written books. They're back there. I had written 2 books. The first book did really well. It was a #1 bestseller in its category on Amazon. The second book didn't do as well as the first, but it still sold and actually still sells to this day. But a book is like $15 for a paperback self-published book on Amazon, $15, $16, and then you end up making like $5 a copy. Or for Kindle, you sell it for whatever the price, I don't even know, $9.99, and you get like $7 for it. So that was really the only frame of reference that I really had for selling digital products. Then it came time to publish a course. And largely, and this might be what you're kind of working with, is that I looked at my free content that I had on my YouTube channel and my podcast, the Preaching Donkey podcast, the Preaching Donkey YouTube channel, and I looked at my book and I thought, well, my course is really going to be a combination of all of this. It's going to be like the work I did to make the book, put into a course, added to a little bit of, the extra content that I've made. And that's pretty much what the course is going to be. So if I sell the book for $15, does that mean I can only sell the course for $15, or it might be worth a little bit more, so maybe 30? Like this was the thought that I had. And I thought, surely that's not the case. Like, what makes the course worth more than the book? Because I knew it was worth more, I just didn't exactly know why. Well, it turns out that course, I called it Killer Sermons Academy, ended up selling for $397. So I sold that course for $400 compared to a $15 book. And it was largely the exact same material. The difference was the packaging. It was packaged differently and it was communicated differently. And so it had more value. And that taught me a lesson that people will pay to hear you teach them the same thing or have you teach them the same thing, but in a different way, right? So for the people who want to spend $15 and read the book at their own pace, they can do that. Or the people who want to spend $400 and have me teaching the lessons with visuals and guides and worksheets. And even included in that was a sermon evaluation, a personalized attention from me that they could get. And I would respond to their comments live in the course. That was worth $400. So the first thing I want you to consider as you are thinking about what to price your course, you need to think about what is the packaging that this course is coming in and what am I offering that I'm maybe not offering in my free content. So what makes a course valuable is not just the information that is in the course. The information is ubiquitous. Information is everywhere. So if you take the model that I teach and that I do, you probably make a lot of free content. You're probably on YouTube. You probably have a podcast. Maybe you have a written blog that you do. You share on social media. You have a lot of free content that you're sharing on a somewhat regular basis. And so when it comes to building a paid product, Because maybe you haven't written a book. Like I've written a book, but maybe like you haven't done that. But if you have any free content anywhere and the course is going to be the same type of content, just repackaged into a course, you have to really think about, how do I put this together in a way that is more valuable than the free content? And the answer to that question is a few things. The first thing, what people are paying for when they pay for a course, is aggregation. I got this from Justin Welsh, but I love it, so I'm going to use it here. Aggregation. You are aggregating all of the possible information that they could sift through, and you are aggregating it into the best information and the most important information that they need for this transformation to occur, whatever you're trying to teach them. That's the first thing, aggregation. The second thing is you're simplifying. So not only are you saying, okay, you could sift through all the content in the whole world, or you could just sift through all of my content. It's still going to be a lot to go through, but I'm going to simplify it for you into a clear path. So I've aggregated it. It's just this. I've simplified it, right? I've put some terms around it. I've put some frameworks in there, and I've given you a clear path to get from where you are to where you desire to be. The next thing is synthesizing, right? So you've aggregated, you've simplified, and you've synthesized. So in other words, it is literally distilled down to the absolute essentials. It's understandable because it's simplified, it's attainable because it's aggregated, and it's a clear path because it's synthesized. If all of that is there, put into a clear path that takes them from where they are to where they want to be, then you have what is the makings of a valuable course that people will pay for. So that's the first thing you have to understand. If you're going to sell an online course, you have to understand what makes it valuable, because there are going to be people who are going to say, you shouldn't be selling an online course for hundreds of dollars. It's way too much to charge that much for information. People are going to say that. And I understand where they're coming from. There's plenty of scammers out there. There's plenty of people who charge a lot for a crap product. I totally get that. Don't be one of those people. Make an amazing product where you have aggregated and synthesized and simplified the best of what there is to know and do, and you put it into a clear, concise path so that your student can get from where they are to where they want to be. I call it escape arrival, to get from wherever they're stuck, where they want to escape, to their desired outcome, where they want to arrive to. And you map out all the milestones along the way. So I say all that because I can't even get into pricing until we establish what your online course must do in order to be something that is valuable that people pay for. So with that being said, if you have all that in place, how do you price a course? There are three basic types of courses: mini course, flagship course, and premium courses. Okay, so here's what I mean by that. Mini course. What is a mini course? A mini course is short, okay, but it's not just short. Sometimes people will ask me, like, okay, I'm going to make a mini course. How long does it need to be? That's not really the question, even though I know it's called mini, but it's really mini in its scope. It's really just trying to solve one problem. It's taking people on one concise, short journey, solving one problem. So for example, over at Preaching Donkey, I had a mini course called Preaching Jumpstart. It did one thing. It taught you how to write a sermon. That's it. So it wasn't trying to teach you how to organize your entire preaching ministry. It wasn't trying to teach you how to build a preaching team, do evaluation structures, none of that. It was just how to write a sermon. That's it. So that course was my mini course. I then had a flagship course. So this is the second type. This was my course that I talked about earlier that was called Killer Sermons Academy, that was based off the book Preaching Killer Sermons. This was flagship in the sense that it was the entire core of what I teach in my online business. So it was your entire preaching career in one course, your entire preaching ministry, everything from preparation to delivery to organizing your preaching team, to managing around your other commitments and your schedule, building a workflow. It was everything in one course. So if I could point to something and say, hey, if you like Preaching Donkey and you want the entire kind of package, this is the course to go to. So mini course was Preaching Jumpstart. And then my flagship course was Killer Sermons Academy. Now, there's a third category called premium, and this is where you might specialize on a really, really valuable skill. Maybe it's very, very in-depth and it's very specialized, and I would call that premium. For this, I had something called the Strategic Leadership Bundle, and it was kind of a course about how to take your communication and leadership and put them together to maximize both. So your preaching and your leadership kind of fuse together so that you're very effective at both of those kind of arts and sciences. So typically a premium course is going to be the most expensive. Your flagship course is going to be somewhere in the middle, and mini courses are going to be the least expensive. They're going to be the kind of entry level. The way I priced that over at Preaching Donkey was I put my flagship course at $297 for the base price and $397 for the platinum. This is something to consider, and I talk about this in my course, The Six-Figure Fast Lane, how important it is to have multiple options, multiple tiers of pricing for each product that you sell, because it changes the buying proposition from should I buy this to which one should I buy, right? So when somebody just gets to the bottom of your sales page and they see one option, here's the course, $297, they're asking themselves, okay, should I buy this course? Is it right for me? But as soon as they see two options, $297 for the basic, $397 for the platinum, now intuitively they're saying, which one should I buy? So they've already decided it's for them. It's just a matter of deciding which one. So I always like to have options. I think 2 is good. I think 3 options is best. So that course sold for $297 or $397. My entry-level course, the mini course, sold for $97 or $197. So it was a $97 base product, but then it had a premium tier that bumped it up to $197. So I've got $100 to $200 for the mini course, $300 to $400 for the flagship. And then my premium course was priced a little differently. Normally this would be a premium product in terms of how much it costs, like $2,000. But for this one, I actually made it a little less than my flagship. It was $250. And my idea there was if somebody comes into Preaching Donkey and they buy Preaching Jumpstart, the next logical step would be to get Killer Sermons Academy. And then the next logical step would be to get Strategic Leadership Bundle. And even though it's the next step, I didn't think it necessarily needed to cost more than Killer Sermons Academy. And a lot of that just had to do with how much value it is delivering, right? The absolute value in the marketplace that it's delivering. I felt like Killer Sermons Academy delivered a little bit more value, so it cost more. So that was my pricing structure. So I want you to think about, first, what kind of course are you building? Is it a mini course? Is it a flagship course, or is it a premium course? I would say for most people who are just starting out, I recommend starting with a mini course. Mini course is going to serve you so well because it's a smaller barrier to entry. There's just less friction getting involved and getting started with the mini course, and then you can later build out your flagship. Over on this brand, I have a flagship course called the Six-Figure Fast Lane, and it sells for $400, $500, or $1,000, depending on the tier that people choose. And it is the best course there is on how to start and grow your online business. So those are the structures that I have for my online businesses. Those are the way that I think about it. Mini, flagship, premium. So which one are you going to start with? Is it mini, is it flagship, or is it premium? But if we just look at mini courses and flagships, take a step there. There's a few things that I like to think about in terms of like basics across the board. First, I agree with Tim Ferriss's assessment that he makes in the 4-Hour Workweek. This book is old, came out a long time ago, 15 years ago-ish, but it's still relevant. He says he never sells anything for less than $50 because you don't want sub $50 customers. He gets sub $50 customers who typically are unhappy at every turn. There's something that happens when you get into that 50 to 100, and maybe these days it might be like $100 minimum might be better. But basically, you want to sell premium stuff, and you want to make sure that you are communicating the value that's in your courses or in your products in general. And so don't go below 50. And if you're smart, try not to go below 100. From there, you want to think about what is an absolute easy decision for people to make. Justin Welsh talks about the $150 number being a wonderful number. He has two courses, the Content Operating System and the LinkedIn Operating System, that are priced at $150. And I have both of those courses. And what he says about that pricing structure is that it's a price that is easy to just, oh yeah, if I want it, if it does those things that it's supposed to do, right? It's going to help me escape and help me arrive to where I want to be. It does all that. Then $150 is an easy freaking decision. I don't have to think about it. I don't have to ask my spouse what she thinks. It's just $150 is nothing to most people if they are in the market for it. They want the transformation that it promises, and they've gone through like your content. They know you, they like you, they trust you. $150 is nothing. And really, anything under 200 is a pretty easy impulse buy decision. So anything starting with a 1, you're pretty much safe. 197 down to 100. That's that mini course range. So if you're thinking about starting and building a mini course, I would price it somewhere around there. Now, your niche does play a part, but not much. Because the thing is, even if it's a hobbyist niche, it's still valuable enough to those people who want it that they're willing to pay $150 to learn watercolor painting, just like the other person is willing to spend $150 to learn how to grow on LinkedIn. It's the same thing, even though it's different niches. It's still an impulse buy, again, for the person who is in that market. Now, for your flagship course, I like to price those somewhere above 200, but under 500 for the base price of the flagship course. And this is in both niches. I did this over at Preaching Donkey, and I do this here in my online business brand. So it's worked for me regardless of the niche. One niche that is not geared around making money, it's geared around kind of skill development, and the niche geared around making money. In both cases, it's a good pricing structure. It's enough to communicate that it has value, but it's not so much that it's unattainable. You still have to think about it a little bit. If it's $400, if it's $500, I got to think about that. But if I'm the right person and it has the right promises, there's a good risk transfer. In other words, I know that if I don't like it, I can get my money back. That's important. Then I'm very likely to buy at that $400 or $500 range. Once we get above that, the buying proposition becomes more complicated. I've really got to think about it. So you want to think, if you price it at $600 or $700 or $800 because you know it's worth that, are you going to be losing some sales from people who are like, man, if it was 400, if it was 500, it'd be a no-brainer, but $700, I mean, that's a lot of money to part with for this course, maybe next time, right? And next time never comes. So think about that before you do that. Now for premium can go up to like, $2,000 easy. But I think for most people starting out, long before you have a premium product worth $2,000, just focus on the thing that people can buy that they just know it's the right product, right time, right person. $150, no problem at all. 300, 400, 500, that number for the flagship, you will sell that all day long. Now, I do want to mention there is a risk in pricing things too low. I was on a sales page just the other day. I wish I still had it pulled up. I don't. I was looking, but I don't. But I was on the sales page, and it was a course about using your phone, your iPhone, to record, to make professional, high quality films. And I get through this entire sales page, and it was extensive. I mean, it was like every possible thing, bonus after bonus after bonus, 15 lessons, all this stuff. And I was like, this thing is going to be $1,000. Like from what it looks like, this thing is worth hundreds of dollars at least. I get to the bottom of the sales page, $27. My first thought was, it's probably not worth it. You know, they're probably promising a lot that they're not delivering on, and that's why they're only able to charge $27. That's the conclusion that I come to. You do not want that. If I had gotten to the bottom of that sales page and it had said $297, $397, even $197, I would have said, you know what? I might buy this because I have an iPhone and I make videos and I would love to know how to pull out my iPhone and make an amazing video. So $300, I'll learn it. But because it was 27, it felt to me like it would be a waste of, it would just be a bother. It'd be a waste, kind of a nuisance. Like, yeah, $27 is nothing, but do I really want to mess with this course? That's what it feels like. Do I really want to mess with this? The answer is no, I don't want to mess with it. And if you're wondering why in my examples I'm ending in a 7, that started somewhere. I don't know where. There's some research around it. You know, $199, $299, that's common. You've seen that everywhere. It's like makes it sound better than just saying $300. You say $299. So some people say, well, okay, what about $298? Is that better? Apparently that's not, but 7 is slightly better. There's been some research done. I was at a conference one time where I think it was Brendan Burchard was talking about that. And he goes, I don't understand the research, but it's there. So just do it. I thought that was pretty funny. You could go round numbers if you want. There's nothing wrong with that. Justin Welsh priced his 2 courses at $150, just $150 even. And I never thought twice about it. If it had said $147, maybe that would have been a little more intriguing, but honestly, $150 was fine. When he did his flagship course called Creator MBA, it was $500 when it first came out, or $497. I bought it. And I think now it's like $897. But I bought it the day it came out for $497. So those are my thoughts on pricing. I would love to hear what you think, because not everybody agrees. Some people have very strong opinions about how information products are priced. And if you have strong opinions, I'd love to hear from you. Or if you are thinking about launching an online course and you want help kind of with your specific situation, leave a comment. Let me know kind of what the course is that you're selling, how much you're thinking of pricing it, and we'll go back and forth and see if we can come up with something that will work for you. And in the meantime, I would love to show you how I recently built and launched a live cohort style online course. So it's a little different than what we're talking about. This was priced at $12.50 for this product, but it was a live course with a small group of people. You can check that whole playlist out where I detail every step of the way, including results, right here. I'll see you in that playlist and we'll talk about it.